Today's amazing journey takes us to the home of a cannibal. Louis Hutchinson, known as the Mad Doctor, was the first known serial killer in Jamaica. He built his castle, he reared his cattle, and hunted his neighbors for sport. But now he is dead, got caught by the head, and got sentenced to hang in a Spanish town court. Tell me if you like my poem. Located in the Pedro district of St. Anne and situated on a low hill close to the old main road from St. Anne's Bay to Jamaica's south side is the ruins of Edinburgh Castle. The building is small and square with 2 floors and 2 circular loopholed towers set at opposing corners of the building. Though the road is no longer located near to the once loftily named castle, to passers-by today who may be unaware of the history, the ruins of Edinburgh Castle may appear as nothing more than the ruins of an old house of days gone by. However, those overlooked stones hold the historic significance of a dark time in Jamaica's history. While my goal is finding and exploring our abandoned and historical places of interest and bringing our forgotten, ignored, or unknown history to the public, I take extra precautions during exploring, endeavoring always to leave everything as I find them. So while exploring these places might look appealing to most, my advice is make sure you are mentally and physically prepared for the unknown before you get started. If you enjoy these videos, I would really appreciate you giving this video a thumbs up. It is most helpful in enabling me to continue sharing my discoveries with you. Louis Hutchinson, the man and architect who built Edinburgh Castle, was said to have been the most feared, hated, and evil man of his day. Hutchinson, better known as the Mad Master of Edinburgh Castle, was born in Scotland in 1733. It is believed that at some point in his life, Hutchinson had studied medicine. He arrived in Jamaica in the 1760s and acquired property at the Pedro district of St. Anne, which he named Edinburgh Castle. Although he is said to have occupied the land legally, his collection of cattle was said to have consisted mostly of strays from neighboring pens. Cattle stealing, however, were the very least of the red-haired Hutchinson's despicable sins. History would later document that not long after Hutchinson's arrival on the island, cases of travelers disappearing without a trace began to surface, and as the numbers of disappeared ones mounted up, suspicions ran wild. During some travelers' long and tiring journey, they would occasionally stop to rest and refresh themselves at Edinburgh Castle. At that time, it was the only inhabited spot for miles around. So, on their way from St. Anne's Bay south, and totally oblivious to the welcome they were about to receive, those traveling would have seen the only inhabited place along their route as a welcome respite. No one could have suspected, let alone imagined, the horrors and humiliation those missing ones would have ended up enduring. This is the story of what must have been the most evil piece of Jamaica's history. Not sure what that is, guys, but there's seems like a house. Yeah, guys, like a house up on top of the hill. So we just come through and whole heap of bush down there, sir. But we like we see the castle, so we're about there, right? Yeah, peeps. I struggle through the bush. I see a man who walk on a track and I couldn't find a track over there. Blessings, Elder. Up there, I get it? Yeah. Tell you. Right, yeah, man. No, let me get my tips yet still until we reach home, no? Yeah. Yeah, peeps. So that's the castle up there, guys. Yeah. You know, part of our history. You know the history about the castle? Or Louis Hutchinson?
the first Jamaican serial killer cannibal.
Yeah.
He used to shoot people from them towers.
Yeah.
I used to help them when them come in the next morning and see them. First white man to get hung in Jamaica also.
Yeah.
Them hang in a Spanish town that try get up on the sea and just him ready here alone.
Yeah.
Make them spot him, you see it? Yeah man, he was a Scotsman. Him have the same castle in England now, so him come out here and him have money, him come build the castle out here, you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah man. So
Some part of it show the boy, come here, come capture yourself and one.
yeah. Or him come capture it from other people and do renovations then. Okay.
Yeah. I mean work up there.
Oh, you work up there? Farming going up there?
No, clean up.
Oh, because the structure we really have a look on still, because it's educational.
Road go right road and the road.
Okay, respect.
Right up, you know.
Yeah man, blessings man. The gateway down there, so?
Yeah.
Okay, alright, give thanks.
Yeah.
Show for me, pa. Alright, so blessings, yeah?
Yeah,
Big up.
Alright.
Yeah. Oh, okay. True. Not knowing they would become certain target for Hutchinson's lust for blood, they were like lambs to the slaughter. Hutchinson killed for sport and not for money. The unsuspecting travelers, regardless of their status in life, were equal and easy game. It is said that he fed off the flow of blood, and often dismembered his victims whom he later left in the hollowed trunk of a cotton tree. There was a sinkhole too for vultures to finish off his victims. The hole became known as Hutchinson's Hole. People feared him, and as the fear of him took hold amongst everyone on the island, officials who could have served him with a warrant and arrested him failed to do so. Not even his brutal and unwarranted attack on his unarmed neighbor, Dr. Hutton, which left the good doctor wearing a silver plate in his head for the remainder of his life, changed a single thing. Now, Dr. Jonathan Hutton and the English doctor owned the nearby Bonneville plantation with around 60 slaves, 30 male and 30 females, and spent his time between Jamaica and his home in Lincolnshire. The story goes that Hutchinson had a dispute with Dr. Hutton over land boundaries, as Hutchinson felt that Hutton had encroached onto his land, and this angered him greatly. So one evening, when Dr. Hutton was riding home accompanied by one of his slaves who was carrying his sabre, when Hutchinson took the sabre from the slave and told the slave to pass on his compliments to Dr. Hutton to tell him that he had taken his sabre. Hutton either ignored or didn't realize what had taken place. Sometime later, Hutton, with his young daughter, Mary, aged about 8 years old at the time, were out riding when they encountered Hutchinson, who, without provocation, struck the doctor with the same sabre which he had previously taken. Dr. Hutton was severely injured and was carried back to the estate to recover, but his recovery was poor. He managed to travel to Kingston to make a formal complaint about Hutchinson, but nothing appeared to have been done about it. And as he was so ill, he gave up and decided to make the long journey back to England for treatment. Once there, he had an operation for trepanning. He eventually returned to Jamaica a year or so later and sought to have Hutchinson arrested. Time drifted by, and Hutchinson remained a free man to kill as often as he desired. In fact, his reputation for villainy was such that no one wanted to go near him if they could avoid doing so. Time passed, and eventually a young English soldier by the name of John Calendar bravely set out to bring Hutchinson in, but Hutchinson calmly shot him on sight. There was an instant uproar from the rest of the country when it was found out Hutchinson had killed Calendar. The population cried out for Hutchinson's head, and it was then that government authorized his immediate arrest. Unaware that soldiers would follow after him, he is said to have fled south to Old Harbour, where he set off by sea, but the Royal Navy, commanded by the Venerable Admiral Rodney, was keeping watch, and Hutchinson's speedy flight from the island was soon interrupted. The increasingly desperate Hutchinson leapt overboard from his boat, but his red ear betrayed him. He was easily spotted. Admiral Rodney was congratulated by Jamaica's House of Assembly for his assistance in apprehending Hutchinson and placing him securely behind bars. Rodney's statue now stands tall in Spanish Town Square. At length, legal proceedings against the Mad Master of Edinburgh Castle commenced. and soon tales of his devilry and debauchery came to light. Hutchinson's slaves added their own accounts of ill treatment, and his reputation for evildoing became legendary. As the unimaginable came to light, bit by painful bit, Edinburgh Castle was searched, and clothing said to have belonged to his victims were found there. 43 watches in total were said to have been found, which would give us an estimate of his victims. But not everyone wore watches in those days. Prior to his apprehension, Hutchinson's slaves, who were too petrified to rattle him due to their ignorance and terror of him, finally surrendered their long-held silence. Each slave detailed crime after crime, but all were perceived hearsay, and therefore their accounts were deemed unfit to stand up in court of law. Hutchinson, who was believed to have committed numerous murders, was tried only for one murder. That was the murder of English soldier John Calendar. During his trial, however, the stories of his slaves were substantiated, and it was further revealed that Hutchinson had not carried out his evil acts alone. There existed a neighboring group of deviant minds, who were also revealed. A few members, namely planter James Walker and Roger Maddox, were tried and found guilty, and were rightly condemned to death for their own parts in the murder of farmer William Lickley and the schoolmaster Timothy Cronin. It is said that along with Roger Maddox and Louis Hutchinson, Maddox's wife Dorcas, Miss Susanna Cole, and Miss Elizabeth Thomas had sadistically watched schoolmaster Cronin's death by strangulation while being pinioned in stocks. Cronin's watch and seal were later found in Elizabeth Thomas' possessions. Miss Thomas was tried and pled not guilty and received judgment as such.
Yesterday, guys, we were in St. Thomas. To the peeps, we were in St. Thomas. You see the Mount of Blackbird up here? Wasn't a good place to start with. You look there. A junk. Guys, you see that? Wasn't a good place to start with. Now we have this tower. You have this tower up there where you would actually shoot persons passing on the road out there. It was a good shot, it seems. You know? But yeah, he used his musket to kill people from his towers. Yeah, guys. Yeah, peeps. We are at the Edinburgh Castle. Yeah. One bag of junk up here, though. Jesus Christ, look there. One bag of junk. This is a beautiful image. So, Mr. said Mr. Hutchinson wasn't a good person after all. Yeah, peeps, Mr. said Mr. Hutchinson wasn't a good person after all. As you know, guys, I always do a walk around. We always do a walk around before we enter any of these premises. Yeah, it seems like the tower was here. I guess this is where the tower was. Yeah, peeps, I guess this is where the tower was. That he actually shot from. Yeah, guys, I think this is the tower because then he would have vantage point down on the road. Guys, if you don't notice, alright, look, when I saw one car come. You see that, peeps? There he had a vantage point down on the road. Alright, then he can shoot to him and shoot and just run go down there for them. Alright, so yeah. But guys, this is a very interesting feature of St. Ann. We never know there's so much hill there in a St. Ann piece. Them say St. Ann flat. But look at this, guys. We're all surrounded by hills and mountains. And that's the Edinburgh Castle here, guys. As you know, guys, I always left the inside for last. Just like, you know, when you small and eat your food and you left the meat for last, because that's sweet. Yeah, I left the inside for last week. So follow me. Hey. Captain Williams. 17 some that. Neville H. Williams. 1999. McLean. Guys, I don't have nothing to make no inscription, so I can't do that today. But it seems a lot of persons have been here. People left them inscription all over the place. Inscriptions are about Smith. So you see there. Alright guys, so notice these are indeed lookout points. The ones in the other house, in the Stokes Hall Great House, those were for boards to be fitted in slots. Alright, these are lookout points. You see all around the building. Alright, that's the building. So guys, this is in the side of the tower. And as you notice, here you have a lookout point right there, you have one right here. Now right here you would have board. You'd have board right here creating the step so that you could go up into the tower, alright? So right there, so maybe you would have go up and then you can see over it. It could be way higher than it is right now also. Alright, so I'll go to the next side of the tower now. Which one name is right something like that. The people not even write good for me can see. This is from 1920, you know. But them people not write good for me can see them name and the inscriptions. Yeah guys, this is another part of the tower. And as you notice, this went down to, you know guys. Alright, this was filled in. This went down also. So this tower don't seem to have had a lookout point or a shooting point or anything, because the road wasn't around this side guys, the road was there. So you know we are mostly a focus on the road who are come towards the building. Alright, so here people, this is at the Edinburgh Castle, we have a lot of lookout points. So nobody can really attack the place, you know. I would like Mr. Hutchinson bell buckle, you know. And it's a souvenir guys, I'm gonna keep this as a souvenir. I wanna say keep this, type souvenir in the comment section down below. Alright, Mr. Piece of iron up this too more. Alright, this look like it was just a brace for some column or something guys. Alright, so we're moving on. Really interesting features in this castle. Hey guys.
Louis Hutchinson was not so lucky, however. Although he insolently entered a plea of not guilty and was defended by one of the island's most esteemed lawyers, he was tried, found guilty and condemned to death by hanging in Spanish Town Square. The records of his trial stand in Jamaica's National Archives. Defiant even in death, Hutchinson left funds to inscribe a 2-line epitaph on his marble tombstone, quote, "Their sentence, pride, and malice I defy. Despise their power, and like a Roman, die." End quote. His wishes, as befitting the mark of such a man, were ignored. Two questions that can't be ignored, however, are: how did the mad doctor manage to take the sabre from Hutton's slave without him knowing? And what was Hutchinson's real reason to come to Jamaica? Is it that he was already committing murders in Scotland and had to flee? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Today, the ruins of Edinburgh Castle stand silently, betraying no hint of the acts of evil that took place there centuries ago. The actions of the mad master of Edinburgh Castle, like those of another macabre character, Annie Palmer, the White Witch of Rosal, lives on in the annals of Jamaican history.
Today's journey takes us to Old Harbour, in the parish of St. Catherine. Here we uncover the secrets of a 16th century Italian-style castle. Arriving in Old Harbour, I didn't know exactly how far from the town centre the castle was located. Luckily, I got some information and a clearer idea of where I was going. Old Harbour is a town in southern Jamaica, west of Kingston, and was originally called Esquivel after its Spanish founder. It was once Spanish Town's second port, when the latter was capital of Jamaica and was famous for shipbuilding. After a period of decline, it was used for shipping bauxite, as well as sugarcane, tropical fruits, and coffee. On this 1804 map, Old Harbour is known as Old Harbour Market, and Cynric R. Williams also refers to Old Harbour's market in his book A Tour Through the Island of Jamaica in 1823. The main features of interest in the town are the clock tower, in the town square at the roundabout where the two main roads meet. The iron clock tower was installed by the English in the 17th century, soon after colonizing Jamaica. Just outside of Old Harbour, 2 miles to the east, is the attractive stone and brick-built Anglican Church of St. Dorothy. St. Dorothy's was the name of the former parish of Old Harbour. About 2 kilometers out of the town of Old Harbour, we came to a dirt road that led us to the castle. Still not knowing what to expect, with much anticipation building, I turned onto the dirt road, and after about 6 minutes driving, I came upon the most magnificent yet intimidating structure I have ever seen. There in front of me was Colbeck Castle. In amazement, I sat and stared. While my goal is finding and exploring our abandoned historical places of interest and bringing our forgotten, ignored, or unknown history to the public, I take extra precautions during exploring, endeavoring always to leave everything as we find them. So while exploring these places might look appealing to most, my advice is make sure you are mentally and physically prepared for the unknown before you get started. If you enjoy these videos, I would appreciate you giving this video a thumbs up. It is most helpful in enabling me to continue sharing my discoveries with you. So who built Colbeck Castle? Historians disagree as to the possible time the castle was built, which apparently could have taken place at various times during the late 17th to 18th century. It is also not known what built it or why. And though it seems unlikely that it was built for the purpose of defense, it is not clear whether it was ever completed, and if it was almost certainly never inhabited. It may have been damaged by hurricanes or by fire, but if so, the fire was probably minor and comparatively recent. One thing that seems certain is that the building has been vandalized in the past and has continued to deteriorate. Nothing much seems to have been done to preserve or maintain this once impressive structure. Having never seen anything like it before, I could scarcely believe my eyes, when at first it appeared imposing and a bit eerie in the acres of surrounding scrub. Tom Concanan, in the Jamaican Journal of 1970, described the castle's external appearance as being a copy of a 17th century Italian villa. I expect he knew what he was talking about, but how or why such a structure came to be built in Jamaica appears to be obscured, permanently hidden from us so far. I wondered if an investigation of existing knowledge and further research might throw more light on the mystery. Even if we cannot find out anything more about Colbeck Castle, we ought to maintain this building. After all, it is a part of Jamaica's history, good or bad. Ruins such as this castle could be generating revenue for the community, if only someone could see the possibilities. And having visited other forgotten historical ruins in Jamaica, this castle stands out in a way others haven't. So intrigued by Colbeck Castle and its history, I decided to dig deeper, and I found something interesting. It appears the castle was built by Colonel John MacLeod of Colbecks in Nottingham, UK. Colonel John MacLeod came to the island in 1655 with the invading English force led by General Venables and Admiral Penn. At this time, the forces defeated the Spanish and drove them out of Jamaica to Cuba. The Crown then granted the 25-year-old Colonel Colbeck 1,340 acres of land from a former Spanish estate for his service. Since there was still a perceived danger from the Spanish, Colbeck decided to build a castle. He designed the fortified structure, 3 stories high, and in the shape of the 17th century Italian villa.
which was a rectangle consisting of 89 feet by 116 feet. Red brick coins, masonry bricks at the corners of the walls, and the brick arches accented the dressed limestone walls. The large brick arches connected the 4 corner towers. Surrounding the castle is a low wall with L-shaped outbuildings at each of the corners, which may have been designed for defense. Each of the outbuildings has a different and distinct design. It appears that the northwest building was the kitchen or bakery due to the presence of brick ovens. It also had a small pool. The northeast building was a beautiful arch frontage and may have been constructed as a stable for horses and the carts. There is also a vaulted basement.
Y'all remember the building we found over in Palmetto Springs? Arled.
The southeast building is probably the guard room. The building to the southwest had 2 large underground vaults also, probably used for storage or probably as cells. At one time, this castle even had a moat and was the largest building in Jamaica.
Because before me look at the castle, like I want to show you this. The castle have to leave for last, but now I'm showing that until I finish. And rest, see, there's a chapel also. Guys, this is our biggest find, our largest find. Alright? Our most realistic find. Covered now under all them. I am enough away from guys. Guys, this is one of our most amazing finds. Look there. You see, this castle had a wall, you know. You know, guys. This castle had a wall, so there were entrances from the castle grounds to get out instead of using the gates, because it was also built to protect the plantation that was here. Alright, as I told you, there was information on screen about this whole area, so most likely you understand already. So this is another tunnel here, and guys, look at this. Y'all remember the building we found? Y'all remember the building we found over in Palmetto Springs? Arled, not Palmetto Springs, Arled. It was just the same as this. It was a round building just the same as this. And I'm not sure what these buildings were used for. I mean, think like a storage of grain. You understand? Because the round top, make them not have no dew on them thing that come down on the grain. Guys, not teaching us something. The round top, make them not have no dew. It's not sweat, alright? So I think that's what this was used for. But you're gonna wait up there, so peeps. And I don't know if I go up there, but let me see still. I'll show you what I'm going up there, sir. Oh, the camera seems much better. Yeah, guys, this is how in here look. And it's a round building, as you notice there, right there was blocked up. Alright, so I'm not sure what this was used for, but yeah. Very large building indeed. And that's the back. That's the wall going around here, peeps. Alright, so the castle was built. There's a wall built around the castle. Yeah? So let us move on. Let us go look at the castle now. I'm showing you that, peeps, on the chapel. Yeah, man, you know, follow me. What that? Hey guys, so alright, I really want to thank you all for watching the videos. Thank you for the time you spend out a day for watching videos. Is it really appreciate it, and I promise to always give a quality content for the time you spend watching these videos. Thank you all for your donations and all of that. Remember, peeps, me like shut up fire down there, so I don't know what I'm going. Alright, so I'm kind of nervous right now. As you know, hear that a while ago, don't? Like my heart a beat fast now. But anyway, I have to show you all of this. Yeah? So the building we were looking at just now, guys, this is the back of the building we were looking at. Yeah? This is the back of the building up top, and I think there should be an entrance here. Yeah, there's a step there, guys, going down into this building, because as I told you, this was a wall around the castle. You know, you can picture a castle. The castle is built with a wall around it, so therefore there's always a road there's always a gate to get out. There are always emergency exits, so to speak. So this was one of those. And if you notice, this seems to have been a hidden exit, because there's no structure, just the steps going down. Alright, and this goes right down into the thing that's shaped like a tunnel. Yeah, so now we move along. Let me show you this sign here, guys. Let me just take a quick pic. Colbeck Castle. Alright, that's the history of Colbeck Castle, peeps. Alright, so now we're gonna be moving over to this building over here. Now this seems to have been another building where you can actually walk through to get out of the castle grounds. Trust me, guys, it's an amazing footage. Like, see there, no peeps, but we are going there shortly. Yeah, man, I'm gonna show you guys this building right here. I don't know if I shot a fire down there, but I kind of get timid a while ago, yeah, because Mr. JPS man, I work good on truck, and still me hear things like shot a fire, you know, or that's something there. Alright, guys, so this is the other building. Yeah, may I try to figure out what this was. Hey guys, this is the other building, and the reason why I said this, I think this was a chapel, is because of the way it was built. I think this building was actually a chapel. Alright, just me telling you about them flowers here. Them can't dead. These can grow to like hundreds of years old, maybe 1,000 years old. These flowers, I can guarantee you guys that these flowers were actually here from the castle was actually up and running. Alright, if you notice them, they're all over the castle grounds. These are flowers that they use to decorate these buildings. We found one type up in Island Head, and now this is another type right here. They are basically the same thing. You know, hear them sound? They are like plastic. Alright, so we'll move along, guys. So see here now, guys, as I told you, these buildings had underground exits. You have to go down to get out of the castle grounds, because up the wall was around the castle. So this is another exit right here, and it seems to have been a wider exit where you actually, like, them would have take things down and stuff like that. Go move on, peeps. Now this seems to have been a room of some sort. I'm not sure, but that's a chimney over there, guys. That's a fireplace over there. And there's another fireplace here. I'm not sure why this place has so many fireplaces. The kitchen area was up there. The kitchen area was up there, as you can notice. Yeah. Here seems to have been another fireplace, while one was up there also. This seems to have been some form of a kitchen. You know, those fireplaces seems to have been places where they cook. You know, these holes, I'm not sure what these are for, but most likely these holes, guys, these holes were the first same to get out of castle grounds instead of going through the gates, just in case of an attack. Alright, these windows were much higher back on the base, because the buildings, they always go down, as you know, guys. But this fireplace, we can't understand why the building up, and this is not a okay, guys, this one carry past, I'm not really like when people see. This was not a chimney, guys. Alright? Come here with the camera. This was not a chimney. This was a fireplace, most likely an oven, because if you notice, there is no exit point for smoke. This was an oven, guys. So that over there was an oven, and then we have them too. That seems to have been a kitchen area, so this was actually the kitchen area, guys, it seems. Seems like this was where the person that lived there got their food. This was the kitchen area, and it couldn't have been anything other than a kitchen area, because that's the oven right here, one right here. And let me show you this one, guys. This is actually a tree one. And another thing, there is underground. Alright, look, guys, you notice there is underground. There's actually something like a tunnel underground. Yeah, this is the next thing why I said it was a kitchen. If you notice, it's 2 ovens. Alright, could have been 3 also. Okay, but they are broken down. This was 2 ovens right here. So the ovens, this seems to have been the kitchen area, and those windows were serving areas all around where persons could collect their food. Alright, so let's move on. Now, I'm going to show you another outer building before we enter the castle grounds. Alright? Yeah, guys, so as I'm going to show you again these same flowers. They're actually out here also. So them flowers are peeps, can't dead. Alright? Come here, me never that shown, but I need to show this. When you look at the construction at the castle, peeps, that's right through the castle you're looking. Alright? Yeah, we're soon going there anyway. Yeah, peeps. So them floors are kind of there. Let's see how it is. Yeah, guys, not sure what was here. So the floors them again, guys. I can guarantee you that these were here for 100 of years, you know. Yeah, man, these were here for hundreds of years, guys. Yeah? Alright, let's see again. Alright, now let me show you this, guys. Come and take a look at this. You see, this castle has undergrounds that we haven't. Oh, and then we see out on the wall out there, so. The undergrounds. This is what I'm standing on, guys. The roof of the tunnel that's under here. And there's the other one over here, guys. Those are the ones that we saw. These are the ones that we saw out front when we were coming in. Maybe I'll put up back a screenshot on screen for you guys to see. But it seems like these are run right underground, go straight across. Because it seems as if they would have been connected to the other building. And these tunnels, guys, were built just in case of an attack, you know. Yeah, this is one, that's one. I'm going to show you the entrances over there, guys, and seems that it connected the other building and then where they could go down to get out through the back. Alright. Here we have more tunnels. Here's another tunnel. Step cross, don't walk on this. Here's another tunnel, guys, and if you notice, because I was actually right. It's a tunnel under there. That is why it have the little belly. And if you look there, there's an entrance down there where you can come out through. I don't know how far the next side go. Now stretch the camera down there. You know, I'm not sure what's down there, but me see it when I edit. Yeah. So yeah, guys, and there's another tunnel over here, just the very same. And this one seemed to have run adjacent to how the next one run. There it is down there. It's another tunnel. You know, I'm not gonna go into these tunnels, guys, just for safety reasons, and yeah, I'm not get a chance to go in there. But guys, let's move on. Yeah, peeps. So we're gonna look at this third building. If you notice, the castle was built with 1, 2, 3, 4 buildings. And the 4 corners of the castle were buildings. All right. So these buildings, it seems to have been for like guard post, or I'm not sure, but one of them for real, one of them for sure was what do you call it? A canteen, alright, where they actually cooked. You understand? That's the one around there. And so the floors them there again, guys. These floors can't die. Yeah? Now let's take a look at this building and see what was here. And tunnels actually, because the ones that we see running this way, guys, they actually run and come into this building. We can guarantee that. We can bet you know and win into that. Seems to have been a grave right there. Never look on the building. Because if someone is buried on castle grounds right in front of the castle, most likely the person would own it. Let's look from the inside. Look on the one first. Okay, guys, total different type of buildings here. I'm not seeing evidence of a tunnel underneath the building. But this, guys, I'm not sure what this building was. Honestly, I can't tell you. I don't have an idea as to what this building was. And I'm not seeing evidence of any tunnels. But these buildings surrounding the castle were all built, I think, for protection purposes. Yeah? This one, you can notice that it had both floors. It was actually lower. It had flooring. Yeah, but the flooring has disappeared. Yeah, guys, so I'm not sure what this one was used for. Could be the entrance because it was at the entrance, you know. Not sure. Alright, so now we move to the castle. Alright, I'm not sure what that is, guys, but it seemed like that a step going down underground, or there was another building right there. Alright, but I'm not sure. That looked like a step. I thought it was a place. But I don't understand, guys. It seems that they had board flood because there's no way, there's no steps, alright? No steps here. So I don't understand why we would be down here and you know? But yeah, peeps, we're in a Colbeck Castle. No problem. Yeah, peeps, this is the castle from the inside. Going up and up. You see that, peeps? That's 1, 2, 3. 3 stories. Alright, and that's the back of the castle over there, guys. Yeah, I'll go over this one. Walk on. Here's the main entrance, guys. Another main entrance. We start get the same idea. I always get peeps. You know that. This castle seems to have been burnt. I'm not sure. I'm gonna get the history, but this castle seems to have been burnt to the ground down. So it seemed that another step was here to get upstairs because there is all the way up there. Yeah, all the way up there, peeps. And I see a lot of it has been broken. If you look over there, you know, it has been broken off. Yeah, guys, let me show you around here. Hey guys, let me take a look inside here. So you see how them build them place up here, so you have to get breeze in the house because you notice the wind, they build it so that the wind will always be blowing inside of the house, and that is one of the things we spoke about. Alright, they built it so that they had, it's like air condition, they always had cool air. Yeah? Look again, guys, all the way up here. This is indeed a castle, peeps. Nothing less than a castle. Alright, that's where the second floor was right there, and then you have all the way up there. Yeah, that's another doorway up there to come out onto the second floor. And notice it line up. Yeah, so this is nothing less than a castle. Yeah, peeps. Yeah, guys, so this is another room. And then you know again, all the way up there, this is a very large building, a very large house, peeps. You see me, one of our biggest fan, the greatest fan. I don't know if I haunted the place, haunted me either at me, or if I excited me too much for me that right now, guys. But yeah, give the video a thumbs up if you haven't done that already. Yeah? Yeah, man. This is another room right here. You notice they had this circular lookouts. Guys, like, this is crazy, yo. This is our greatest find. And guys, you notice brick and stone going all the way up to Zion. Yeah? I know. So let me see where we haven't been. Let me see where we haven't been. Alright guys, so this is the house, guys.
Colbeck must have been a rather solitary man, for there is no evidence of relatives. When he died at age 52 in 1682, he left his fortune to his executors with a few small bequests to various people. For example, he left £20 to the parson to preach a sermon at his funeral. He further donated money to the St. Dorothy Anglican Church for the purchase of glass windows and iron bars. Colbeck also bequeathed a ring to Sir Henry Morgan, a former pirate who became the Lieutenant Governor of Jamaica. A monument to him is found in the Spanish town cathedral, on which is inscribed the words, "He died amidst great applause." A curious fact is that after Colbeck's death, his name does not appear to be recorded in the history of Jamaica. There is some doubt as to his origin, but it is generally believed he came from Lincolnshire in the UK, where a branch of the Colbeck family's tradition or records is that one of their numbers was shipped off to the West Indies for a misdemeanor and that he prospered, made a fortune, and became a well-known and respected citizen of the island of Jamaica. It seems then that there can be little doubt that this is referred to the same person. Why then is there no references to him in writings after his passing? Equally puzzling is the complete lack of mention of his monumental castle, which almost certainly must have been the largest building of its time in Jamaica, and quite possibly in all the Caribbean. Yet nothing was sketched or written to record such an outstanding piece of architectural construction. One wonders why.
Today's amazing journey takes us to the historic parish of St. Thomas. In today's video, we explore the history of one of the first colonial houses to be built on the island. But first, I had to stop at the Yallah's Pond and taste the water out of curiosity.
Yeah guys, this tastes like acid. Seriously.
While my goal is finding and exploring our abandoned and historical places of interest and bringing our forgotten, ignored, or unknown history to the public, I take extra precautions during exploring, endeavoring always to leave everything as I find them. So while exploring these places might look appealing to most, my advice is make sure you are mentally and physically prepared for the unknown before you get started. If you enjoy these videos, I would really appreciate you giving this video a thumbs up. It is most helpful in enabling me to continue sharing my discoveries with you. Originally known as St. Thomas in the East, to distinguish it from St. Thomas in the Vale, which incorporates today's St. Catherine Parish, St. Thomas was one of the principal areas of settlement for the indigenous Tainos before the coming of the Spanish, who later settled in the delta of the Yallah's River and principally reared cattle at the place they named Morante, which eventually gave the capital town, Morant Bay, its name. St. Thomas boasts some unique physical features and cultural practices that remain fascinating for non-locals of the parish. Among the physical features clearly visible from the highway just outside of Yallah's is the Yallah's Salt Pond, consisting of twin ponds that were once a source of salt.
Yeah guys, so this is the Yallah's Pond behind me. This is the first one. There's another one down here. There's a, like would I call it, a median. Come closer so you get me out here. Come closer. There's a next one down there, guys. Would I call it like a median in between where you can actually walk and go around. Alright, now the story is that there were two brothers back in history. I'm gonna tell the years, guys, where they were like, them have a disagreement. I don't remember what them that fight over, but them have a disagreement, and it history, not history, what do I call it now? Don't cut, you know. Folktale has it that they were actually in a disagreement, and that is the reason why this was actually split off from the sea and it's split in two, because it was land, and that's why water there here right now. Alright guys, so you know that's a myth. I'm gonna give you guys a real story about the Yallah's Pond. As I told you guys, it's the most salinated water in Jamaica, meaning that it's the saltest water in Jamaica. I'm gonna taste it. I taste and me tell you, because I'm going to Wolpa Beach and everything. Godfrey, follow me. Yeah guys, this tastes like acid. Seriously. This tastes like acid. Godfrey, taste it.
John on my farm.
Yeah man, taste it man.
Cause me eat fish out already, you know, so nothing wrong as I say. You know.
Just put your finger in and taste your finger. Tastes like acid, bro.
Touch mud. It's rougher than all the sea water, man.
Salt.
Yeah, man, rougher than the sea water, honestly.
Really salt.
Yeah, really salt.
Their existence remains a source of mystery and speculation. But it is believed that during the earthquake of 1692, the land where the ponds are now sank, leaving pockets of seawater almost completely enclosed by land. Due to evaporation, the water in the pond is extremely saline and can be 5 times saltier than seawater. Local legend has more than one explanation for the origin of the ponds. One such legend says the ponds were created after a dispute between 2 brothers who were in love with the same woman. One brother married her, but he discovered that she was unfaithful by sleeping with the other brother. He cried himself to death. His tears created 2 salt puddles that grew and drowned both wife and his brother. Guys, if you want to hear the true story about the salt pond, let me know in the comment section down below. I'll be sure to create a video about that. With the coming of the English, the land use pattern changed from cattle rearing to the growing of indigo. But that too later gave way to sugar and a variety of other crops, including citrus. The parish is otherwise very mountainous, with ranges running from the neighboring St. Andrew, of which the Blue Mountains form its northern border. The 3 main rivers are the Yalas, the Morant, and the Plantain Garden rivers. The first 2 running southwards to the ocean, while the latter runs from west to east. And the Plantain Garden River literally defies physics. It's the only river in Jamaica that actually runs from west to east. The parish is situated at the eastern extremity of the island, with Morant Point being the easternmost tip. It is marked by the Morant Point Lighthouse, a 100-foot structure built in 1841 by the Crews, who were part of a contingent of free Africans who were brought to Jamaica after emancipation, and who later settled in Morant Bay and along the Plantain Garden River.
I hear about it, I'm a search for it, and trust me peeps, it wasn't a normal search to find this. Yeah. What are your names?
Jada, my name now.
Jada.
Jada,
Okay.
yeah.
And okay, lighthouse. So the building over there, son, that was the original building. That one go up on the wall.
Yeah, and they said one of the that one burn get burned down.
Oh,
Yeah. Fire, yeah.
Okay. It's amazing to all the things that are close to water always get burned down. Because we got St. Mary the other day and the courthouse in St. Mary,
Yeah.
you know, so fire burn it down. The fire station right almost next door.
Know that. So we just make the one here inside, but we don't know the running there, the patch up. I have to know what kind of media you are going to make a one picture, what kind of media you are going to put it on. Alright,
As you know, guys, it's an educational video.
when you go on the top,
Yeah.
you can walk, there's a balcony door, you can walk and come out.
Guys, this is
Yes.
our history, guys. Important piece of our history. This, when you know afraid of heights, right now, who's scared? Me? I'm not scared anymore. I mean, friend?
No, sir.
Let me see your phone. After this, please come on. Yeah, guys, so that obviously is the centered battery that works the light on the lighthouse, and that's the step that we just came up. Alright, I'm wipe out the camera, peeps. Alright, guys, so yeah, that's the battery over there. That's the battery over there, guys. Alright, so we step there, and yeah, we'll go up some more step. Yeah, peeps. Nico, come up, Nico, afraid of heights. Yeah, guys, so go up again. Up again, guys. Guys, afraid, like I feel like the lighthouse and shake peeps. I go up and see from the top floor of this guys. I'm afraid right now, I swear. And I know I'm afraid of heights, that's what I said. But now I forgot that, sir.
The crews were not the first imports to St. Thomas though. Early in the English colonial period, a contingent of 1,600 colonists from the island of Nevis, led by Major Luke Stokes and his family, responded to an invitation for settlers shortly after the English conquest and settled in the Morant Bay area as early as 1656. While most of those settlers died from tropical fevers, the survivors established sugar plantations and many, including the Stokes children, became very wealthy. The ruins of the two great houses they constructed at Stokes Hall and Stokesfield near today's Golden Grove represent the oldest foundation of a house in Jamaica from the English period. Luke Stokes, the governor of Nevis, invaded the extreme southeast corner of Jamaica and drove out the Spanish in 1656. The Spanish called the area Hato de Marante, or Ranch of Marant. Luke Stokes, along with 1,600 other settlers, were the first Englishmen to Jamaica. He later called the area Stokesfield. The area is part of the Plantain Garden River and the Negro River Delta, and is the most fertile area in Jamaica due to the periodic flooding by the river. It was along this river many prosperous sugar estates were established, among which were Stokes Hall, Golden Grove, Duckenfield Hall, Holland, Amity Hall, Ardley, Hampton Court, Winchester, and Wheeler's Field. Much like the Nile River in Egypt, floods brought down new fertile soils for the crops. Unfortunately, the river delta was also a breeder of mosquitoes, which brought malaria and yellow fever. Luke Stokes, his wife, and 2/3 of the settlers died within a couple of years. The remaining settlers moved to higher ground, which they called Stokes Hall. Stokes Hall was adjacent to the road that passed from Kingston through Port Morant and onto the estates at the mouth of the Plantain Garden River, Holland Bay. Up until the mid-1800s, Port Morant was one of the most important sugar shipping ports in Jamaica. But with the decline of King Sugar due to the slave emancipation, it became the small fishing village it is today. Stokes Hall Great House in historical documents is referred to Stokes Hall Slave House because it was built by slaves brought from Nevis by Luke Stokes. It is one of the oldest English ruins on the island of Jamaica and built by Luke Stokes' children. Like many early great houses in Jamaica, it was built more like a fortress than a house. Gun holes are still evident in the building walls. In 1840, the Stokes Hall and the adjacent Hampton Court sugar estates were owned by Alexander Donaldson and consisted of 1,443 acres. An earthquake destroyed the great house in 1907. The road up the hill was called the Negro House Road because it was lined with slave houses. Today, the view from Stokes Hall Great House is spectacular. At the east and south is the extensive river delta, covered with sugarcane with the Duckenfield Hall sugar mill in the distance. To the north, the Blue Mountains made up the skyline. The ruins of the Great House consist of 3 remaining towers, the foundations of the kitchen outhouse and a water tank. The house is made of concreted rock rubble faced with dressed stone. Evidence of a stucco coating remains in some areas. Although there is some fancy archwork on the outside windows and doors, the lintels are really made of timber. Ruins of the 2 great houses they constructed at Stokes Hall and Stokesfield near today's Golden Grove represent the oldest foundation houses in Jamaica from the English period.
Findings are getting larger and larger by the minute. So first, you know we always do a walk around first before we go inside, don't? Guys, this big. It's not just the front, look here. Guys, remember I told you that the Colbeck Castle and the Stokes Hall Great House are one and the same, like them have something in common. You know, look here, peeps. It was built like a castle. But guys, take a look at this view over here. Isn't that a beautiful view? Yeah? This is something down here, sir. Please come. Alright guys, so I'm going into the building and see inside of the building. Come in, stay close so you can get my hand. Hold the camera. So guys, this is one section of the house. Alright, it seems I'm gonna find the remember the Stokes, the Colbeck Castle guys, and I showed you guys the blueprint and everything. Now have a look for that and see how this was set up, because it's really hard. As you guys notice, it goes all the way to there. It's 2 stories. Could have been 3, because same as how we realized that the Colbeck Castle had a 3rd story downstairs, I never realized could be the same here. And if it's here, I should think that there's a tunnel will be running going out to sea, out to the lighthouse, alright? But never find out. What else look there, guys? Now I wonder if I saw the house, it'd be like after this 4 parts, 1 room, 2 room, 3 room, 4 room, or it had the interior part made out of board, because if most of these buildings, same as the Colbeck Castle, the inner parts were made out of board, so them get destroyed. So we can't. But here are compartments, guys. You can notice we are marking. Yeah, this was another room right here. So yeah, guys, I think it was the whole house, but then the inside parts were made out of board. That's what I thought. That's what I think. Yeah, guys, fabulous. Yeah. I'm going to look for one over here now, guys. And as you notice, when I'm walking, I'm actually walking on the columns and the foundation of the house. This is our next piece going straight out there. That's one, and over there. Alright? See, left me key in my car. Next fountain. Yeah guys, so we just have to up from the angle like how they were here, so guys. Here please. And again, this place is fairly well kept. Alright? Yeah, we can get them there. And if you notice, here they have, it seems as if they had used some form of a concrete material right there, and the board is still there, guys. And that's over 100 years old, maybe over 200 years old. Alright, here we go again. The board is still here. Come here with the camera. Let me show you this. Guys, let me see this. Let me see this. You see that, guys? That's a spider. Yeah, big spider web. I'm not going to die still. Yeah guys, here I'm seeing some windows in this part of the house from outside. I see them, I wonder what them for. Those small places right here. Alright, I'm not sure what that for. Could be somewhere for board or something to be inserted, but I don't think so. Alright, here again we have one. That seems to be a lookout point, but up top we have them, and those seems to be lookout points up top. Alright. Yeah guys, and we have one more of them thing right down here, so again, I'm not sure what these are for. Could be for stairs to go upstairs. So one more here guys. It seems that board is somewhere to insert board. So it seems like the top floor was actually, the board was inserted into those columns to hold them, because one more there right this to peeps. One there, so one there, so one there, so. So what else could this be? I'm not sure. You know? So I'm going to take a look over next time. I'm not going to go that. Okay, no, yes. Yeah, peeps, so we look over that side here. And the board is still here, guys. You know how much years out about this? And it's the same functions. We have the holes inside. Now, guys, take a look at this. Board. There was board inside here. I'm not sure why board would have been in here, but there was board inside here. Board was inserted into the walls. Here's one more. I'm not sure what these are for. I swear I don't know what they're for. And they're only in the corners. And they're upstairs also. I don't know what they're for.
But guys, this was a very magnificent building. Type magnificent in the comment section down below if you believe what I say. Alright? Now guys, we're gonna take a look at this. I'm not sure what this structure is, but we'll take a look and start finding out. Okay guys, the first story I heard was that this was a lookout point for the house, but after looking at this I really don't think so. This is more like a tank, guys. You know, this would have been a tank because there's no entrance on the sides. This is something for storing water. If it's not a tank, it would have to be a dungeon, and it's not a dungeon. So this would have been a tank, guys. You know, I'm not sure the reason why the tank would have been here, but this would have been a tank. Okay guys, so that's the structure over there. Some beautiful view behind me, guys. Like seriously, not even want to left up a nice type, nice in the comment section down below. Alright. Magnificent. One of our greatest finds again, you know. But honestly peeps, I'm not gonna say it's our greatest. Colbeck Castle still holds that record. If you don't believe me, type that in the comment section down below. Alright? But this is fantastic. This is great. You know. And a whole of slave labor going to building this, guys. Our ancestors who were slaves to build this house and they never get a chance to live in it. But what I'm wondering, guys, why after slavery, when all these people went back to the UK, to England and those places, why didn't the Jamaican government or the people in Jamaica, or say ex-slaves, why they never like occupy the places? Why are these places still left to ruin even up to this days? Like the government not really want to touch certain property. Some of these buildings are in proper condition, and yeah, some of them restored and stuff like that, but it's not being used to like facilitate revenue coming into the country and nothing like that. I'm not sure why, if these buildings are condemned by the Jamaican government or what, but we need to look into that, guys. So
Ruins of the two great houses they constructed at Stokes Hall and Stokesfield near today's Golden Grove represent the oldest foundation houses in Jamaica from the English period. At the end of a tiring and exhausted day, on the return journey from the Donald Sangster Airport in Montego Bay, and whilst traveling along the North Coast Highway, otherwise known as the A1, about 5 miles out of the town of Duncan's Trelawny, Pat spotted a faded sign that read Stewart Castle. Out of curiosity, I made a U-turn back to the sign. An arrow on the sign pointed in the direction of a dirt road. I turned the car onto it and followed the various signs along the route that headed towards the ocean. Coming to a T intersection, there was a Stewart Castle sign, but with no arrow. Looking more closely, I realized that the red arrow on the other signs was at the bottom of the black portion on this sign. Turning right, I followed the dirt road until I came to another T intersection, where I turned left, and just a few meters further along on a small hill, the massive cut stone remnants of the castle fortress appeared as if out of nowhere. This was not one of my usual planned journeys, but luckily I had my camera with me, as I seldom leave home without my equipment. And fortunately for me also, there's a plethora of archaeological and historical data available today. While my goal is finding and exploring our abandoned historical places of interest and bringing our forgotten, ignored, or unknown history to the public, I take extra precautions during exploring, endeavoring to always leave everything as we find them. So while exploring these places might look appealing to most, my advice is make sure you are mentally and physically prepared for the unknown before you get started.
And if you enjoy these videos, I would appreciate you giving this video a thumbs up. It is most helpful in enabling me to continue sharing my discoveries with you. At first look, the site is a bewildering mass of roofless stone walls. But after some time, a few distinguishing features came into view. Standing prominently in the complex are tall square towers, 2 embedded in the house complex and 1 freestanding. A very large yard enclosed by an 8-foot high wall dominates the far side of the house ruins, with the footprints of other buildings within. Tall, thin slots, called loopholes, originally intended for firearms, cut through the masonry on all sides. What is now a sprawling ruin was once an imposing, if curious, plantation great house. Stewart Castle appears to have been constructed in 2 phases. Dominating the first phase was a large rubble limestone 2-story house measuring 28 feet by 24 feet. Significantly, the house had only 1 room per floor. This first phase included 2 square towers, each approximately 15 feet square, standing 12 feet distant from the main house, one to the northwest and the other to the southeast. That these towers were designed to provide military defense for the house is made explicit in the gun loops that open through almost every elevation, allowing both direct and enfilade fire, meaning they went slant also. Archaeological evidence suggests that this phase of the house probably dates to the 1760s, soon after the plantation was patented by Scottish immigrant James Stewart I in 1754. The house was significantly expanded in the late 18th century by his son, James Stewart II, who encased the early house with rooms on 3 sides, built a third freestanding tower fitted out with a cannon port, dug in a massive water cistern, and raised a huge courtyard wall 8 feet in height, complete with 36 gun loops positioned every 10 feet along the length of the new wall. Broken glass, set in mortar, still runs along the crest of the wall. Born in 1763, James Stewart II served Trelawny parish as the custos for many years. He was also a leader of the local militia and was a lieutenant colonel in the Maroon War of 1795. In these years, he undertook the massive expansion of his father's house into the footprint that remains on site today. Stewart Castle began as a small 167-acre landholding in 1754. By 1799, the sugar plantation had grown to well over 1,200 acres and was supported by the labor of over 300 of our enslaved African ancestors. Despite the increase in size, James Stewart II found it necessary to mortgage the property in 1797. At the time of the property's sale in 1830 by James Stewart II, Stewart Castle had clearly been converted into a cattle estate well before then. Records show that the estate had an average of 282 cattle each year during the second decade of the 19th century. The almost obsessive focus on fortifications of the castle demonstrates a perceived and possibly very real threat to Stewart Castle from the Maroons and possibly from those he enslaved. If the castle came under attack, Stewart had the ability to secure people and animals inside the courtyard. Built into the castle was a large cistern with the capacity to store a great quantity of safe drinking water. As a result, the remains of a water cistern, 3.1 meter by 5.5 meters by 2.5 meters deep, can still be identified inside the main castle building. Robert Sheldon purchased Stewart Castle shortly after Stewart II's death in 1828. An early 1830s lithograph by J.B. Kidd documents the overseer's house and the works, with the main house and corner towers visible in the distance. Currently, the 1799 plot or map, along with the 1830 lithograph, are the only surviving documents that directly address Stewart Castle. The fanatical nature of the physical defenses around the Stewart Castle, including fortified privy, armoured courtyard and nearly 100 gun ports built into various areas of the compound, declares Stewart II's concern for his personal safety and security. The majority of the defenses, however, face inland, toward the mountains and the maroon strongholds, as well as toward the slave village. However, I am left wondering why there appears to have been a lack of or no attention to defenses around the water at the front of the castle. This may suggest that Stuart's main concern lay in the ability of the Maroons to attack and incite the enslaved population that substantially outnumbered white planters on the island throughout the 18th century. Or the water, pond, or lake at the front of the castle might have been for beautification or water for his lands and gardens. Today, a path from the 1799 plat passes through the village and continues through a forest that was once the provision grounds for the estate's enslaved laborers. Mango, guinep, ackee, and the coolie plum are still concentrated in this forest. The path continues over the ridge and descends along a steep rocky face before ending at the wharf. Fishermen who still use a path maintain a fishing camp in the 18th century storehouse. One fisherman who lives in the refuge community, a mid-19th century Freetown near Stewart Castle, has been walking this path daily for over 60 years. His father walked the same path throughout the early 20th century, likely navigating a route carved by his ancestors centuries earlier.
Guys, finding these places, I'm not proud of these buildings. Sometimes you always see me get excited. I'm not proud, I'm proud of the building because our forefathers suffer. Before parents, our ancestors, them suffer upon them plantation here. This plantation was over an actual castle. This seemed to have been the courtyard. And over here, this is back to the room where that tank is over there. That's a tank in the ground right there. Really huge place. This is another area of the castle. Enormous, really huge. This seems like 2 rooms right here. 1 room, 2 room. And this is downstairs. But they might have a downstairs in your cell. That's another floor down there, guys. As they said, this castle was 3 stories high. Them said it was 3 stories. Now this look like only one pool there, so still no. Like it's an indoor pool. I'm not sure. This, guys, seems to have been a lower floor or an indoor pool, because I see some hole in at the bottom of it, you know. And the way of the corner right round. Up here. But it look like a downstairs floor still. With a kind of low. Could have been a basement, the storage. Then we have over here, guys. That's stone right there. Old stone. Kashamaka them there, no peeps. Over there, that's a little tunnel right there. I'm gonna check out that shortly. Over the beautiful hills of Trelawny. Now look on the side of peeps. That's our next section in this, you know. Guys, when you look at this courtyard, really large. Y'all believe me, say after 6 right now, I'm still at Trelawny. This place is huge. And there's a magnificent view from Overgrown, peeps. I'm gonna show y'all that this was fortification all around the castle. Those were gun holes right here. You see them? Shooting holes for protection of the castle. So you have them all around. They were all around the castle, as you notice. There would be another room right here. Gun holes again. Plus up there. Yeah? Guys, I never come on the road to make a video. I swear. The airport me I come from. And literally see that place here and we decided to come check it out. And this is what we found. This is really huge and absolutely unexpected. Gun holes all around. So this castle was well protected. Yeah, guys. This is the steps going down. And this is the outside of the castle walls, guys. Alright, those are the gun holes. So basically, if you're outside and try to attack the castle, there are so many places that you can be attacked from, where them can actually counter attack. You know, it's around there. That's the entrance. Let me see around the back. What's around here? Guys, just want to say I really appreciate the time y'all spend watching these videos, you know. And if you really want to support the channel, if you really like these videos, the easiest way and the best way to support the channel, giving the video a thumbs up if you haven't done so already. I remember, if you haven't subscribed to Elite Jamaica, you can do so anytime. This is another gun hole, guys, that would be looking at you from inside of the castle. This around at the next side. That's the side we just came on. So we'll go back up at the front because I want to see what that little tornado is all about. Guys, if you think this is a great find, guys, and if you like this one, type great in the comment section down below. Alright? Yes, man. Look at the curvature of the wall going around. Real castle style building. You see that, guys? This is really amazing. And this is the front step that leads up, and you notice it would have been well protected, yeah, from all angles, you know. Plus there's a mound over there, which it seems like another building was over there. So this is going back up inside the castle. Before we do that, let me just see down here, side of this room. If you're still here with me, let me know in the comment section down below. Alright. This is inside of this room. There will be gun holes and gun holes up top. Really fortified. Yeah, from here, we'd have a vantage point to see who's going up the stairs, who actually have come through the gate. And I think that's why these windows are actually wider, so you could have a wider view perspective somewhat. You know, you can look, instead of looking through a gun hole, that you don't actually have a wider perspective, you know. So we head back up into the castle now. Okay, so we wouldn't be able to go back up into the castle. This is under this little tunnel for the step. Guys, this place is rather huge. Really huge. This is down in that section that I showed you guys. And it seems they had gun holes down there. I'm not sure if there was above ground at that time, but it seems they had gun holes down there. Up top, they had a lot of gun holes up top. Over there. There. That seems to would have been another step, but it's broken down. Pat, come here. Yeah, guys, we just see something else. Pat just point out something else. These gun holes, they remember around that side, guys. When I remember around the next side, guys, when I show you all the windows, I may have said them use the wider window them for the front so them can have a wider range of view. Look at these gun holes. Pat just point out something to me. These gun holes, guys, this is the wall, you know, peeps. But the gun holes don't go straight. They went slant. You understand? So if you're there at the door right now, you try come in, you know that go. This other one over here, slant also. So you couldn't attack the front entrance. None of these entrances. I'm going to see it if Pat never pointed out.
it was well fortified. It seemed them under threat. This one is straight, you know, but some of them are curved. It's like them did really under threat. And every room, you can protect the castle from every room, you know. If you get in a one room, them can shoot you from in the next room, you know. Yeah, guys, may I check out over that next room there. Did not go over that room. So now go over the room, they go look over there. That's the tank down there. Now, I see why they would have an indoor tank pot. Because it was protected, they wouldn't have it outside. Yeah. About the water being poisoned. Real. Yeah, guys. Yeah, they had a floor down. That are the protected section, it look like. This is the tank, guys. Really deep. Lot of water. This is the wall. Let me see where I walk. Now this is the other room. Oh, yeah, I see them. Now go over there. Yeah, guys, never come in another room here. The room is fancy though. And they have an upstairs one set up the same way, you know. So the chimney would have there here, so. I true, you know. Yeah, guys, because this is one fireplace right here. And the other one is upstairs in the other room upstairs. So most likely they would have a chimney. Let me see. Alright, so yeah, guys, I think they would have a chimney right there. So up top, this is a one gun hole, fortification hole, and next to fortification hole, one there. Now this one is interesting. This one still has board, so we actually get a look at how these windows were. Yeah, really fortified still. So this is how they were. You could rest your gun upon yourself or down yourself and shoot. You know, any one of them. So it could be two shooters looking out, and you have perfect vantage point out there. You know. So this is interesting, guys. Me actually see the function of one of these holes. Fortunately, they hadn't removed those boards, and that's another one hole right there. Here, look as if this castle was attacked in the past. I'm not sure. But that look like something lick it out. Yeah, peeps. So I'm gonna go on the next side. This is outside of that hole. So this is how it would have been from the outside. If you're loving this video so far, guys, let me know in the comment section down below. And look, come on. Yeah, guys. So this is the Stewart Castle ruins.
Today's amazing journey takes us back in time, 202 years back.
1820 that was built.
Back to a time when plantations flourished and slaves and sugar were the commodities of choice, an era lost in time and hidden from the history books of our people. To get to our destination, we went across 8 parishes, saw some of the most spectacular sights, and drove on some of the most unforgiving roads. We got pulled over a few times by the police, got lost in Trelawny, but then I found something quite amazing. While my goal is finding and exploring our abandoned historical places of interest and bringing our forgotten, ignored, or unknown history to the public, I take extra precautions during exploring.
endeavoring always to leave everything as we find them. So while exploring these places might look appealing to most, my advice is make sure you are mentally and physically prepared for the unknown before you get started. If you enjoy these videos, I would appreciate you giving this video a thumbs up. It is most helpful in enabling me to continue to share my discoveries with you. And if you are interested in seeing dashcam footage of my journeys around Jamaica, please check out my next channel. That's called Reggae Dashcam. A link will be in the descriptions. Our first stop was at the Flat Bridge. The Flat Bridge is a beam bridge across the Ryakobri on the A1 road, connecting Jamaica's capital, Kingston, with the north coast tourist areas of Duns River and Ocho Rios. It is one of the oldest bridges in Jamaica. While it cannot be positively ascertained when this bridge was built, it was definitely constructed before 1724, according to the writings of Edward Long's description in the History of Jamaica, printed in 1774. The bridge is flat and composed of planks and frameworks of timberwork which rest upon two piers and two buttresses, constructed with piles and braces interlaced with masonry that projects from the banks of the river. When the bridge was being constructed, the 16 plantations in the Bagwalk area were obliged to send one enslaved African in every 50 to work on the river road that was sometimes called 16-mile walk. Gravel, marl, lime, sand, and stones had to be dug. Slaves often lost their lives as they performed dangerous tasks in the gorge. Contracts for timber and masons to work on the bridge were authorized at vestry meetings. Between 1881 and 1915, the floor of the bridge was washed away and later refloored with iron girders and buckle plates, taken from the original flooring of the Maypen Bridge. Today, the bridge is of 3 spans and is supported by 2 piers and 2 abutments. In the 1930s, it had metal handrails and the later wooden ones, but these were devoured by the river at different times. Hemispheres of stone are now the only protection on the bridge itself. The next town we arrived at was Yoratan, St. Catherine. The history of Yoratan is sketchy at most. What I could find out is that the town's name is most likely a compound of the surname Ewart and the suffix ton, meaning town. The town's economy prospered particularly from 1957, when Alcan established a bauxite plant nearby. The plant was later transferred to Windalco and was closed in early 2009 due to a fall in demand for aluminum as a result of global recession. Reaching Fern Gully, we were now halfway through our journey. Fern Gully is located in the hills about 15 minutes from Ocho Rios town square. It got its name from the wide variety of ferns that grow along the gully or gorge. Some may find this road a little spooky, but on a personal level, it is a fascinating drive of almost 3 miles long. The road follows a narrow zigzag path through a rocky rainforest-like terrain that is believed to have been a river at some time during the past. Apparently, after an earthquake in 1907, the river disappeared. The riverbed was then paved to become the road we know today. The gorge is quite a thrilling drive, like an amusement park roller coaster ride, except the settings are pleasingly natural. There are approximately 300 species of ferns to be found in this gorge, present along with various varieties of flowers and trees. However, the area is poorly lit, with hardly any sunlight, and is about 10 degrees cooler than the rest of the town. Ocho Rios, Spanish for 8 Rivers, is a town in the parish of St. Anne, on the north coast of Jamaica. Just outside the city, travelers and residents can visit Columbus Park, where Columbus supposedly first came on land. There you can see maritime artifacts and the Spanish remains of colonial buildings. It was once a fishing village, but now caters to almost exclusively tourists. It is a port of call for cruise ships, cargo ships, and produce such as sugar, limestone, and in the past, bauxite was shipped. The town offers a selection of activities, such as scuba diving and other water sports, as well as many hotels and accommodations for pleasure seekers. The name Ocherius is a misnomer because there is no such records of the area having 8 rivers. It is most likely a British corruption of the original Spanish name, Las Correras, meaning the waterfalls, a name given to the village because of the nearby Duns River Falls. The town, now known as Discovery Bay, was originally named Porto Seco, or Dry Harbor, by Christopher Columbus in 1494. It was named as such because Columbus could not find a source of fresh water close to this natural harbor. Columbus later found fresh water when looking 5 miles to the west, thus he named the area Rio Bueno. In 1947, the town was renamed Discovery Bay, a reference to the town's history. It was believed that this was the spot where Christopher Columbus first set foot on Jamaican soil. However, this claim is hotly contested as there are 2 other towns which is claimed to have been the Columbus' first landing point, Rio Bueno and Seville.
So this was the source of the book. It's beautiful.
Yeah guys, so we're in Runaway Bay at the moment. Yeah, reach a Runaway Bay. We're actually at the old Folly Point. This is where Christopher Columbus had actually landed. He named it Porto Seco and the other name. I put it on screen guys because I'm not remembering what's the name, but I found this. I'm not sure what this mechanical device was. Hold on. Come closer. This guys, I'm not sure what this was. This is actually like a wheel. It's like a pulley that they would use to pull in ships from off the sea. I'm not sure what it was, but it seems as if it had an angle here. As if it had an angle here, guys, where there would be an angle where the third pull something or if it make something happen, because that's how we do with wheels and pulleys. I'm not sure what it was made for, guys, what it was used for. However, we're moving on to the Kenilworth Sugar Estate. So now follow me. Alright? Really interesting sights. But kinda less than what we did expect. Yeah guys, so this is where the train would actually come across the road to deliver the bauxite ore over to the plant over there. Now that's the plant over there, guys. Let me see if I can show you all a little bit closer. Yeah peeps, that are the thing where the bauxite, the ore goes up on that thing right there and enters the ship through the next particle going out. That's protruding, alright? Yeah guys, and this big thing up here, I'm not sure if anyone knows what this did or if it was a storage point for aluminum ore, but let me know guys if you all have an idea what this was used for. It seemed like a storage for them thing there still, but I'm not sure. Alright, so we're heading on to Hanover.
The next day, I took a different route. A route through the center of Jamaica. The views here are magnificent, and the path found a 4-legged friend. Time was against us, so we pushed on to Clarkstown. Approximately 2 kilometers from Clarkstown, I turn a corner, and there before me in the distance and in the middle of an old sugarcane field, stood a quirky example of 18th century Jamaican Georgian architecture. It was the Hyde Hall Great House. Compared to other Georgian great houses on the island, Hyde Hall Great House is uniquely different. 3 large arches on the ground level would have allowed the carriages to pass under the house in bad weather. The passengers could disembark and enter the house by way of a winding staircase to the second floor of the house. The house has 2 stories and was constructed of square-cut stones. It also has 3 hip roofs in typical M shape found in many Jamaican great houses. At one time, the roof was roofed with cedar shingles. Today, it is covered with corrugated metal. The impressive cut stone grand stairway with wooden balustrades at the front of the house leads to the second story. Sadly though, this slowly deteriorating piece of workmanship is at a point of collapsing under its own weight. An impression in a column to the front of the house, now missing, clearly showed the date 1820.
1820 that was built. Somebody live up there?
1823. I want to plot the dead there, you know. Something dead on it. So that's a 22 year, on 220 years old. 202.
Yeah.
Blessings, Zelda. What your name? What your name?
George.
George.
Yeah.
Big up, George.
What them call me Gaddafi.
Gaddafi.
Yeah.
Alright. History this you living in, man.
Yeah, man. You know that, man.
Yes, man.
Yeah.
You know? Yes, man.
Flagstones.
Yeah. Yeah. Room like a small living.
Okay. Here's a staircase. Staircase firm?
We're upstairs.
Alright, I could tour upstairs first.
Yeah, come. Yes, we have that.
Zach?
Zach.
Careful, they're not kind of heavy.
When you're up.
Zach.
Zach. Look where it's at. We're not going to come back on this end. When we just come here, see? Then they have one cage, I said.
On cage?
One cage, bird cage.
Oh.
They got something with one bird in it. Is there evidence there?
Yeah. Inside, there are stacks of wooden bunk beds for workers
so them bed
from
are-
bygone days of sugarcane harvesting and production.
Look, one sugar cage. Oh. Our bed.
GPS signal lost.
No. This is a camp where you workers. Yeah, double bed.
Which year the worker used to work here?
About 5 years ago. To go out there now.
During harvest time, the Great House was used as a dormitory for employees of Everglades Sugar Company.
Oh, what's down there?
Yeah. All about that then. Over the store just come from all of us over my head.
Oh. Alright, I'll go back through.
It appears that every available space in the house was full of these bunks, which suggests the scale of sugar processing back in the day.
Okay, true. Yeah, man. Really interesting. We find a lot of great houses, but never find none with.
So I'm gonna look up in Mount, yeah.
Blessings, Rasta.
Yes, sir.
You're up in a man. You not left no food for me, man?
But I never know say you're the boss, man.
Oh, alright. Next time when me have forward. You know, me have one of them bowl there when me little. Same color, you know. A long time you have that bowl there, you know. Years.
Yeah,
Yes, man.
You know, to walk over.
That me realize. Zach. Zach.
I want to so get out. But then say produce.
Okay.
We can reach over there.
Can't reach over there this evening. That'll be for next time. I'll go back inside. Downstairs.
Whenever you feel it, look. Stop this one. Stop. Look one, the last step. Look behind you. And slide it. Where I step on and slide up.
Oh. Just.
Where now? Where I do know? Where I know.
Yeah, we took the step. The Hyde Hall plantation origin is a merger of two families, the Hydes and the Halls. William Hall arrived in Jamaica in 1687 as secretary to Christopher Monk, the Duke of Albemarle, who was the new governor of Jamaica. Before becoming secretary to Christopher Monk, William was the British consul in Balboa, in Spain. William Hall had one son, James, and when William died in 1699, his son married Elizabeth Crossley. Elizabeth's sister was married to Edmund Hyde, the Chief Justice of Jamaica, hence the name Hyde Hall. The estate that Hyde Hall Great House occupies was first owned by James Hall. The family also owned Hall's Delight in St. Andrew, which had the only known silver mine in Jamaica. At some point, the plantation was passed on to George Clark, 1676 to 1760. He was a relative of the Halls. He moved to New York for a short time, and upon returning to England, he moved up the social ladder by marrying Anne Hyde, heiress of Hyde Hall in Cheshire, England. She was related to the Earls of Clarendon and to Anne Hyde, wife of King James of England, and mother of Queen Mary and Queen Anne. Not only did George marry well, but he managed to get himself appointed Royal Lieutenant Governor of New York. He also amassed several thousand acres of upstate New York, thrown in for good measures. He named his estate in New York Hyde Hall after the English estate of his wife and of one of his Jamaican estates in the same manner. Lieutenant Governor Clark's eldest son, George Hyde Clark, eloped with a neighboring squire's daughter, deserting his first wife, which resulted in him being disinherited. Lieutenant Governor Clark's younger son Edward died before his father, so his inheritance went to Edward, his nephew, the son of his brother, who was also named Edward. So Edward the Younger inherited Swanswick from his father and Hyde Hall from his great-uncle, Lieutenant Governor Clark, in 1777. I think I have this whole mess figured out. Nonetheless, I stand corrected. Gables?
In any event,
No.
though, that is how Hyde Hall got its name.
Oh, this is a gable. We call it a
Arch.
we call it a arch.
One and one this one.
Mm-hmm.
And 5 more there. Oh,
5 more. Okay.
was a set.
Okay. Yeah. At the next staircase.
At the Mahadam.
Interesting. I'm lucky with them, you know. Now one of my video them was sting me. I'm turn idiot.
And then I was
And the big one them like on at them.
Yeah, man.
In 1779, the estate was back in the possession of the Halls by inheritance, in the person of William James Hall, 1725 to 1779, and was later inherited by his younger brother, Crossley Hall, in 1728 to 1790. By 1788, Crossley Hall was deeply in debt, and the 2,000-acre estate was sold to Henry Shirley, a fellow sugar planter who owned the Spring Garden estate in Portland Parish. Hyde Hall was the principal residence of the Shirley family until 1914. It was during the ownership of the Shirleys that the Great House was constructed in 1820. This was possibly one of the last great houses constructed in Jamaica. In 1790, a sugar refiner by the name of Millet came to Jamaica from Santo Domingo, later called Haiti. He introduced the use of limes and the lemons to produce white sugar. So white sugar was most probably first produced at Hyde Hall.
Measurement.
Mm-hmm.
You know them way you know. You know them way there?
True.
Just like it.
This really deep. Cotton tree. Yeah guys, so we're going to see the cotton tree first.
Come here.
Majority of them cotton tree are there on the plantation, them use. Guys, that's one of the older houses. But this was built after the Great House. And yeah. Oh, yeah, true. And oh, yes, so you there. Okay. Oh, you get water and thing, I just light, you know. Okay, so you do well with like a battery pack or something to charge your phone. Yeah, here him live. Oh, you see a barefoot, yeah, we realize that. Yeah, that I realized the rain that for. Yeah guys, so this is the cotton tree, and this cotton tree is said to have been used to hang unruly slaves. You know, we haven't verified that as yet, but sooner or later we'll be able to give you all the information. Bad dog over there, so family? Pig? Where am there? A pig that? You know the dog? You know about dog? The sugar factory?
Yeah. So that wouldn't call that name. When name again?
So that thing was for the sugar.
When name again?
It was a sugar mill
That
with the windmill
yeah,
upon it.
That was the
Okay,
power.
so we'll find our next windmill tower.
Yeah,
Alright.
anyway, you see power like that.
Yeah, we'll find a lot of them. You know.
Pan is straight there.
No, I'm not hear about it, but I go as far as Kenilworth in Hanover, you know, so.
Just come here, like that.
Alright.
No, carry it, go there.
I have read something somewhere about Hyde Hall.
Yeah. Oh, what you going in water, man?
No, man, I'm not going there, man. What that, Aki?
Yeah.
You see them, hold up the camera? Yeah, man, Aki, man. So you get Aki in them time, yeah?
Give me a 1 tree there.
Oh, okay, okay.
Look like you can get all of it.
Alright, I really respect that one.
No, me by aluminum own on island, but
What I've been looking for, Chinese yam.
China yam?
Chinese yam, I've got it.
What's the difference between China yam and...
They are delicious.
Okay, I think I
Absolutely.
show them small.
It's like when you do mashed potato with lots of butter.
Okay.
yeah, man, you Makai, you know.
You have only one, right?
No, so me one that route I'm gonna get.
Okay.
I'm going to bake.
Yeah. That's a me gungo. You know gungo?
Yeah,
No.
I've got some.
Come on.
I've got gungo. I've got tiny yam to plant. Look. Finally got it.
Nearby in front of the house are remnants of the wind-powered sugar mill, still standing in thick grass. There was also a cattle mill, but now that is a ruin. The stone windmill is almost entirely hidden by trees and the ferns growing out of its many cracks and crumbling walls.
There's even more over there. There is even more over there, guys, but I won't be able to go over that side. But this is the tower. Really huge. Yeah, so we can't go in our windmill. Oh, one next day when, yeah, for real. Are you liking this trip?
I'm enjoying it. And everywhere I go, I'm falling in love with the place. Now, I was in love with Portland.
Yeah.
Now I'm wildly head over heels in love with Trelawny. I love the weather. It's cool.
What about this house?
Oh, God. Give it to me. I'd restore it single-handedly by myself.
Wow.
I'm good at things like that.
Okay.
The Hyde Hall Great House and the plantation is now owned by the Long Pond Sugar Estate. If you enjoyed this video or learned something, please let me know in the comment section down below. And remember, you can always subscribe to Elite Jamaica. It's free of cost. Thank you for watching.